Hello and welcome everyone to Let's Play Tomb Raider 4 Remastered. This is Guys 115 speaking, and let me welcome you to the Burial Chambers, a direct continuation of the Tomb of Seth, and honestly what feels like should have been one and the same level, but for some reason they decided to split them into two, which is a bit of a bummer. Honestly, if these two were combined, it would be my most favorite level of Tomb Raider 4, but since they are split and therefore a bit lesser parts of the whole, I have a much more different favorite level later on in Alexandria. So, in today's second level of the Egyptian adventure, we are gonna get our hands on all 21 goodies, raising the total to 61. We're also gonna land 8 kills, raising the total to 28. Keep in mind, there are in fact 15 enemies in this level, as you could have seen in the scrolling text. And that's simply because 7 of these enemies, we lack the explosive ordnance to bring them down. Meaning, you can either use an all weapons cheat to have your revenge, or what I would suggest, and what also doesn't disable some of the achievements, is wait for the New Game Plus run. That's when you'll start with Explosive Ordnance and you'll be able to take your revenge, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do, but for now, in the normal difficulty, we're gonna have to let go. Again, unless you use an all weapons cheat. Furthermore, we are gonna find all 5 secrets in this level. Again, it's insane how in these 2 short levels that 10 secrets fit in. Like I said, we're gonna be halfway through done with the secrets very early on in the game. And also, you might have seen on the scrolling text, breakable objects, yay, my guilty pleasure. So the first 4 breakable objects of Tomb Raider 4 also happen to be the breakable vessels counted towards the Oops achievement. So in those affected levels where these happen to be, you will see this lovely icon. And we are going to raise the total to 4 out of seemingly 170. But the actual total I care about is 169. And the same applies to pickups. Both the pickups and the vessel's broken count will update when you reach a certain point in the game. This was my theory back in the Angkor Wat video and confused me after the patch was implemented, and I'm happy to say it works exactly as I hoped. However, the secrets count is still not affected via this branching path, which is always going to show 70, even though it's not going to be possible. Should you stick to the 568 and 170 breakable vessels, nevertheless, just know that you'll have more opportunities to unlock all pickups and the Oops achievement should you make a certain decision later in the game, and that's where I'm going to talk about it, okay? Now, there are no achievements to unlock here, but please don't be sad. We are going to make progress not just for Oops, but also for Theomachist, because there's going to be a second great statue, at least according to Saber, just completely randomly. It's going to be considered a great statue. I don't understand really why. And we are going to increase this count to 2, okay? Now, looking at the secrets counter, we are at 0 out of 5. I would very much like to raise that to 1 out of 5, and there we go. So, again, I keep referencing the Furnace of the Gods beginning because it made such a lasting impression on me, and it's the first time in the franchise. This time, the same gimmick is tied to a secret, but you could also see it in Old Witch with the shotgun shells. Okay, so let's press the lever. Again, we are surrounded by the Guardians of the Sphinx we've seen in the previous level, watching our progress. Again, we're gonna encounter these guys later on. And you know what? Just to, I guess, make things a little bit more immersive, I'm gonna use binoculars for this, not photo mode. So over here is what looks like when you try to bake something and you leave it in the oven and it just completely falls apart and crumbles and then you take it out. In the remastered graphics, I realized this is supposed to be a winged scarab, which is pretty damn cool. Now, winged scarab is a key item we need to get out of the Tomb of Seth, but not before getting our hands on the Ankh that we came here for, the Amulet of Horus, okay? Furthermore, you can see some serpent effigies. These reference the second key item we are going to find in this level. So they're going to be multiple key items we need just to get out, but the one we came for, the Amulet of Horus, that's the real prize. Okay, Lara? Now, this is such a beautiful trap. First of all, you pick up this, the exits become available. I recommend taking the left one. Should you take the right one, like I did, you will miss out on the second secret, but do not worry, you can fix it easily like this. Now, the spikes will constantly keep popping, so you just need to time the jump correctly. What we picked up is the Hand of Orion, which is a mandatory key item that will allow us to progress very soon. And onward over here, this is the second secret, the left path with shotgun shells. But again, I just want to get the point across that should you choose the right one, you know, just not knowing in advance where the secret is, you can still fix it. And this just begs for a swan dive. Something about the shape. Oh, I just love it. I need to do it. Okay, Lara, Binox time again. And I want to show you the first 2 breakable vessels of the game. Again, not a huge change in the textures. These look pretty damn good even in the original. In the remaster, however, you can make out in a little bit more detail there are some sitting figures here, almost worshipping the winged scarab I talked about a bit earlier. So we are gonna get a sneaky, grubby Tomb Raider hands on it. By the way, break all these, and occasionally you might find some goodies. And also, they make the most satisfying crunching sound. And just as a little proof, our breakable vessels count has increased to 2 out of 170, but 169 is what we're aiming for, although arguably there are more breakable vessels and more breakable objects, but it will be my job to differentiate that. Okay, so, pretty sweet. Glad to see this works, unlike in the Times exclusive level, where the breakable vessels count would not increase. This is the way I like to descend. If you make a jump, you can overshoot and end up taking some unnecessary falling damage. And my god, this trap. Okay, just give me a second. I am gonna pick up the small medpack over here, which is ridiculously easy to miss. And nothing else here, just a couple of these sarcophagi, which will never open, which is probably a good thing. Honestly, I prefer the look in the original. It's like they turned a young woman and turned her into this creepy old hag. I don't know what's up with that. I don't think this is how they're supposed to look, but anyway. None of these open or anything like that. You cannot interact with them. For now, for all intents and purposes, these are just decorations, okay? But let's climb back up, because this is where we'll put the Hand of Orion and trigger what I think is actually possibly the hardest trap in the entire game already put into the second level. So let me just explain the gist of it, guys. The objective is to make it across, which on its own wouldn't be so difficult. You could just make a diagonal jump over this, on this platform, and then a standing jump over here, and ignore this L-shaped piece altogether. The problem is, there are shotgun shells over here, inside the spikes, and a shotgun over here, and the real challenge is to pick up the shotgun shells, the shotgun, and make it across, and not get hit. Oh boy. And if you're thinking you might be able to, you know, work your way around this via shimmying, corner shimming, and then climbing up to pick up the object, guys, just drop the idea altogether. Good thinking, but no. The climbing animation is so slow that by the time you position yourself and you get up, one of those blades is gonna get you. So, what I would like you to keep in mind is that this windmill-shaped blade, these huge arms of it are actually blunt. They will not deal damage to you, and that's very important to keep in mind. What they will do, however, if you're not careful, they can push you down, okay, and you'll just have to try again. The real problem are the small spinners over here, which are also covered by blood, as was the case in the original, which I never noticed. Pretty damn cool. These are the ones that will deal brutal amounts of damage to you. What's more, they move along the axis over here, so what this essentially means, you'll never know when the next one's approaching or not. Just, I never managed to predict it or figure out, but there is a sequence of moves that works relatively well for me, and I guess we'll see if I'm able to execute them. For now, I would very much like to save the game here, because this might take multiple attempts, we'll see. Okay, there we go, we have the save file. Onward to the Hand of Orion, Miss Croft. Now, the moment Lara puts it there, make sure to turn around and make a standing jump past one of the spinners into the box of shotgun shells. And let's navigate this real carefully without getting sliced to death. Okay, now Miss Croft, side flip please. Oh, thank you so much. Okay, so the practice paid off. I managed to get it without being hit. I think the trick was really to delay when we were on this platform, because one of those spinning blades was actually moving towards us and I stuck to the left corner over here. Okay, well, that was stressful, but don't worry guys, the worst part of the level is behind us. Or the best part, depending on how you look at it. This bodes very ill, Lara. But before we do anything, and by the way, this was one of the first rooms I remember in the pre-release materials shown when the Tomb Raider 456 remaster was announced, and it just made us all giddy with excitement. The fact that these are finally three-dimensional and repressed into the pillars, not just like this. Oh man, it's Horus watching over his cousin Seth, which is pretty damn awesome. So, don't forget the goodies in these corners over here. And you can approach this impressive sarcophagi from all sorts of sides. Just please do not approach it from the step size over here, because you'll trigger events and will miss out on some goodies. For now, I just wanted to make clear that this is our prize, the Amulet of Horus on Seth's effigy, and it's not a coincidence. And the way they absolutely reworked this entire sarcophagus is great. But you'll really learn to appreciate what it looks like after we finish the level, when you'll see it in an FMV, okay? That's when you realize that that was the inspiration for it being remade. Okay guys, so second great statue of the game. Pick your side, it doesn't matter if it's left or right. I'm gonna choose this one, this is what worked for me on PS5. Just make a handstand here, and you know what? I'm gonna take a screenshot. I like to, I guess, take all screenshots of the Theomachist handstands and publish them online on Steam community. And a small med pack over here. So yeah, this Seth statue, I mean, okay, it's pretty damn cool. Is considered a great statue. It's a night and day difference between the original, which was just like a crumpled piece of paper. It's great. There are also 4 holes in 4 different corners of the room. The one you'll really want is the one over here, which will lead into the third secret of the level with a small med pack and more shotgun shells. Like I said, you cannot really run out of shotgun shells. But New Game Plus, which I just finished yesterday on PS4, oh, different story altogether, oh boy. If you're interested in all the kills, which of course I was. And I think I got almost all the goodies. We'll see. So, the trick about that secret is that should you first trigger the cutscene in the antechamber, the whole thing will be flooded, and for some unknown reason, there will appear an iron grate blocking your way through. I'll talk more about this later once we trigger it. It's a kind of secret design I'm not really happy about, because it's not really communicated clearly that it happens or why it happens. Nevertheless, guys, just watch the end of the world triggering right here, right now. And there we go. See, we are smart because we've seen the scrolling text at the beginning of this video, but Lara hasn't, not yet. I mean, she could have read and translated the inscription on the Amulet of Horus, which, by the way, in the remastered graphics has a gemstone set on both sides. In the original it only had it on one, and honestly, I prefer the original look because of that. It's an asymmetrical view and it clearly shows which is the side that's supposed to be on the bottom and on the top. Here it seems like they just copy-pasted it from both sides, so I'm not sure how I feel about that, but maybe this is more FMV accurate, I don't know. I'll need to pay closer attention. But now, look at those small Seth effigies on the side, and this is indeed blood pouring from the sarcophagus, and this will make a little bit more sense when you'll see the FMV at the end of the level. There's an ominous glow coming from the inside, and yeah, Lara has what she came here for. It's time to ring up Winston, prepare a hot bath, a bubble bath ideally, because we'll be back in England very soon. Or are we? See, the thing is, Lara has sort of triggered the end of the world, but in her defense, if she wouldn't pick it up, someone else would. So I think it's still good that she did that. By the way, the statue now becomes movable because it's no longer on a step. This has become repressed down since. And what we need to do is put it on the tile over there. By the way, the reason the the third secret becomes inaccessible is this grate. Again, this is odd because how are you supposed to know that should this flood with blood first, a grate will suddenly appear? Like, this has nothing to do with the flooding itself, and as a result it feels like such a cheap design. Anyway, nothing else in the other corners, and we'll need to put this statue onto another symbol using the same exact texture. This is the only thing that will open up the path out behind the mummy, which is pretty damn hilarious. I would very much like to take a picture of this Sleeping Beauty from this angle. I think it might be best. There we go. We might get a better opportunity, who knows. And again, these are the sarcophagi we've seen before, female ones. So maybe these are all mummified priestesses, not priests or something like that? I know, but these ladies are in a foul mood since we stole the Amulet of Horus and released Seth. Which is a bit odd, because according to Semerket's prophecy, part of which we'll find out later on, the person releasing Seth will be the one to make things right. So why would they want to kill that person right here? That doesn't make sense. Or maybe the mummies could bring the amulet forward to Seth's sarcophagus and reseal him in time. That could be another thing. I don't know. But if you stay away, they will leave you alone. The moment you approach and you want to give him a hug, that's when we have a problem. Yep. And we need to get this fella out of the way, or lass. Yeah, I think these are ladies, you know? They're a bit old-fashioned, but they are very classy. Yeah. Something I want to tell you about the ladies. Should you take your guns out, they are barely gonna feel it. This is the problem I talked about. And this marks the 7 unkillable enemies of the level. Occasionally, they will stagger and make a sound like that. A bit more efficient thing, and let's not waste the good ammo, let's use White Shot. You can push them back, or even knock them down on the floor altogether. There we go, that's what I wanted to show you before I ran out of ammo. So, and this will take him a while to recover, but none of these things deal any damage. Like I said, you will need explosive ordnance. And if you're thinking of luring them all the way to the precipice and knocking them down with the shotgun across the edge and maybe making them shatter, like you will be able to do to a different enemy type later on, I have some bad news for you. An invisible barrier will always prevent the mummies from falling down, which is so bloody unfortunate, but there you have it. So we just need to outrun the ladies, and hope that once we set things right, we summon Horus, put the armor together, or maybe I'm spoiling things too much, but once we set things right, they will all be laid to rest. But for now, they'll be just very angry about what we did. Now, I would very much like to, you know what, take a picture of a new enemy, and I want to bring them to light and better lighting conditions, because this place is pretty dark. Or you know what, no, I'm not going to do that here. I think we're going to have a much better opportunity to take a picture of them. So these are jackals, just like in the previous level, but these ones come in black. They have bluish ribcage, and also they have blink. They wear jewels across their body, but for all intents and purposes they are the same emaciated beasts we've seen in the previous level. Now I like this because this is really the first time the game properly opens up, and I would like to start by showing you the exit and declaring what the objective is. And this was hinted on the breakable vessels and effigies if you've been paying attention. We will need to put a serpent over to this receptacle and a winged scarab over to this one. And I guess metaphorically, using the wings of the winged scarab, this whole place will flood with sand, almost like an elevator, and bring us up to the exit. And that's what we want, since we already have the Amulet of Horus. And of course, there is someone waiting for us to just do that. Not much we can do here. By the way, you can manually aim the shotgun pellets using the look feature. And let's see, you can shoot at the mummy, but nothing will happen. Later on in the game, we'll be able to break some breakable objects this way. Okay, so let me switch to the good ammo. See, I like wasting white shots because they're so worthless. And I guess these are better lighting conditions for me to, yeah, take a picture of this puppy over here. So this is a jackal. This is Lara. Somehow she's missing her shotgun. Let's just fix that real quick. They're much better. Let's also give her a proper facial expression. There we go, just anger and adrenaline. And I would like to zoom things out somewhat, not too much, maybe roll it like this. And this way we get a shot of both Lara being angry and the jeweled jackal. And the moment I'll press the escape key, I'll need to press the, whoa, action key. Okay, we made it in time. So the third jackal only spawns once you reach the exit. That was another hidden motivation of mine why I wanted to show it to you at this stage. Now the place is very dark. And if you don't see, you might trip up. Oh no! Well, in this case, this leads to the fourth secret, which is pretty damn cool. Feels very random and unremarkable, but it is what it is. Every single secret counts, of course. Every pickup, every enemy, every breakable object. Yeah, I'm a bit obsessed. By the way, again, love the sort of natural changes in geometry they did. We'll get to admire that column a bit later on. For now, we have a choice between this challenge or the one across the bridge, which is far longer and honestly feels like a climax of the level, so I'm gonna leave it for later. Also, the exit from the other challenge leads directly to the exit from the level, so I just think it's more efficient to tackle this one first. This is also where we are gonna get our hands on the the third and the fourth breakable vessel. There they are, again hinting at the Winged Scarab. I think these ones each have a pickup, which is pretty damn awesome. So let's get the good shotgun ammo. Again, always happy to see the red boxes rather than blue. And now, the first goodie. Despite there being this giant effigy of the Winged Scarab in stunning detail, no longer stretched on a sort of a mesh of a vessel, the key item we're gonna find here is in fact its counterpart, the serpent, and my god, this is a looker. Just, oh, this is great. I think I wanna also do something about Lara, and there's no way I'm passing up by this screenshot opportunity. If she could just, you know what, I know she's supposed to be holding her guns, but I think that's pretty damn cool. Look at her smiling, getting her hands on the prize. And this way we'll capture the mummy, the scarab effigy, and the gorgeous detail on the serpent over there. Yeah, let's absolutely do this. Miss Croft, the prize is yours, just be very careful. These ladies have an issue with that. They're gonna wake up and block your path, or you can just ignore them and jump up. It's really no biggie. They are too slow. Again, that's not gonna be the case in New Game Plus. Oh, my favorite trap. Woohoo! Let's sprint. Oh man, I have such fond memories of this one. The first time I encountered it as a kid, I made it across on the first try. I improvised, the adrenaline kicked in, and I have such fond memories of this trap. Oh, love it. Such good traps in these two levels. Okay, so, before you drop down, you can very easily miss the large medbag over here, and that would make me very sad. So let's instead get here. There is a little tile to break your fall, and now let's fall down. And this is what I meant about the natural geometry. See, this feels almost like a round, rough column. Not so much in the original, just completely blocky. Okay, and on we go. Again, the exit here puts us in front of the second challenge, and the exit from the second challenge will put us back down. So I just feel this is the most efficient order. By the way this is called is the Golden Serpent. I mean, it looked stunning in the original, but it's so much better in the remaster. Love what they did with it. And to Jackals, and since we'll be at a distance, we can absolutely bring our guns to take them down. Again, I'm just enjoying how easy the combat is on normal difficulty compared to what I've been through on NG+, so that's where I'm coming from. Now, let's use a ladder. Oh no, this is not a ladder, but thankfully we don't need to make a forward crawl safety drop. Okay, now guys, this room impresses me to no end. First of all, I would very much like to get to, I think this is the final fifth secret. Yes, indeed, and I don't want to mess it up. Yay! Okay, always makes me a bit nervous and uncertain, because technically this shouldn't work, but it somehow always does. Let's slide down. This is such an impressive room, because we'll be spinning it around and changing the level geometry. Oh, I love this place. Although it can be a bit confusing, but let me guide you. As you can see, another star receptacle. This time, it's not gonna trigger a lethal trap. It's gonna do something much worse. It's gonna summon a rope. I know. But look, hey, we'll master rope swinging, don't you worry. I got you guys covered. So, let's instead ignore it for now, because we don't have the second star. Climb here. This does a bad job of telegraphing where you need to go, honestly, in my opinion. This is a point where sometimes when I replay Tomb Raider 4 I get stuck, but that's why I practice. In fact, the grate over there, illuminated by the subtle shade of green, opened up. Not the grate down in the pit over there, okay? I don't know why I always end up making that mistake. Okay, and we can just get down directly. Oh, we touched a slippery slope, really? Anywho, so let's follow it. And this is where one of the most impressive things in the entire game is gonna happen. Now, observe the cutscene here. The moment we press the lever, we are gonna be teleported to a different room. But the way the camera works, it's gonna convince you that the whole room is spinning, which is not the case, but is nevertheless impressive. Just observe. See, guys, it's not actually spinning, this is all just cinematic camera. still works. It's so cool. Oh, isn't this level great? Okay, so yeah, I think this is really what inspired Saber to add the curvature and the different set cameras into the photo mode. I really think this is what triggered that inspiration. Now guys, I have nothing but praise for Tomb Raider 4 so far, and you know, I keep saying that it's really far from my favorite games. That's because the beginning is just so good, it starts out so strong. The problem is, the more we'll progress, the more significant will be the drop in quality, in my opinion. I can't stand Giza, I really cannot. Anywho, the Hand of Sirius. First it was Orion, now Sirius. I'm not really sure, but these are gods that are resting on the starry sky in the heavens. Well, similar to Horus. That's why they are shown by stars in this particular case. But why they are gonna lead to the winged scarab, I actually do not know. So, let's climb up over here. And whenever I try to make a jump here, it never works. I mean, running a jump, I need to stop and make a standing one. Now guys, there's something I haven't really showed you in Tomb Raider 4, and that's that you can shimmy across corners. It's not really like it's a new control scheme or anything like that, and this is the first real opportunity to use it, but I think what's far more efficient is to just grab this. But let me show you. Lara can absolutely do this over concave and also convex ledges, you know? So I just wanted to make that clear, because I didn't really mention it in the Angorvat tutorial for whatever reason, just completely slipped my mind. I was focused on the new remastered climbing down moves, that sort of thing. But you can absolutely do it. But you don't need to, as you can see, you can directly jump and grab this ledge. Now let's get here. This one always makes me nervous. It's a bit of an awkward jump, and I'll just run forward, grab. And you know the gist by now, how we like to descend ladders. And oh yeah, I think the final... Oh yeah, not the final, ladies, of this level, but penultimate ones. The moment we press this, again, the whole room geometry instantly changes and swaps. However, we are shown a camera angle that's kind of telling us that it's in fact spinning. If you skip it, by the way, and you make it there in time, the spinning noise will continue, but the room will be static. That's what I'm talking about. But I'm not gonna skip any of the in-game cutscenes in our LP. That would just feel wrong. But on your own repeat playthroughs, absolutely go ahead. The option is amazing that it's there, because sometimes they can get a bit out of hand. Oh my god, ladies, just... No, I'm not gonna tell you the secret of Lara's perfume, just leave us alone. And yeah, let's climb up. And this way, after spinning the entire thing twice now, and having our hands on the Hand of Sirius, we should be able to put it into receptacle. See, this is the original room again. And this way, we will summon the most vicious of all Tomb Raider 4's traps, a swingable rope. Nah, don't worry, it's not that bad. It's gonna get worse when there'll be 3 lined up. Oh yeah. Oh. But, I mean, I feel fairly confident. I've had practice. Let's see if that still applies. Now, you can absolutely go all the way up and stabilize the rope completely. It's gonna make this a bit easier, but I'm a cheeky bastard. I like to risk it from an unclear angle. And there we go, guys. The winged scarab is absolutely ours. Let me admire how beautiful it is. I mean, this was such a looker in the original. One thing I don't like in the remaster, look at the brightness. It's almost burning holes into my eyes. I don't know what's up with that. Doesn't seem to affect the golden serpent quite as much. But anywho, the detail is still there, so yay. Get the shotgun out, because there'll be 2 jackals in this corridor. And you know what? I'm glad I took a picture of a jackal when I did, because they all seem to be in such dark places. Well, maybe this would be a good one, but... Wait for it. There we go. Again, if we were to use the white shots, so many pellets would scatter, putting us at a risk of a jackal surviving that initial shotgun blast, meaning we'd have to shoot again. I just don't get this ammo at all. I dislike it with great passion. And down we go, and guys, we have both the key items allowing us to get out, and also the Amulet of Horus, and we find ourselves at the exit. And we have all the secrets, all the goodies, but I'm gonna show you the final stats once we reach the very top. So for now, oh, you know what's gonna happen. You absolutely know. This is probably not your first Tomb Raider adventure. So let's put the golden serpent in. The order doesn't really matter. Although I guess technically I could have put the scarab first and then the serpent, because I'd be further away from this lady. But yeah, let's wait for it. Takes a while for her to wake up, but she will. And in New Game Plus, they will immediately be woken up, and the speed with which they'll move will be like they're roller skating across the map. You've seen better days. But maybe she just... Okay, guys. I might regret this. I would just like her to... Yeah, that's exactly what I was waiting for. This just gave me an idea. This needs to happen for various reasons. And you two, you're gonna dance. Okay, look at Lara's seductive wink. I think Lara finally found someone she can date. So, let's do this. But I would like to capture it from a better angle. Maybe something that just says romance, you know? Just imagine flamenco playing during it. Okay, I'm gonna put you a bit higher, like that. I want the hands to be touching. What the hell am I doing with my life? Oh, this is too much fun than it should be. Okay, there's the exit, but... I don't know, the fallen bird effigy just does it for me. But I want to capture both of their faces, and this is where it's gonna get really difficult. Because the FOV is not really the thing I'm looking for. Should we also give Lara maybe a different outfit? We should, shouldn't we? Something that says socialite. There we go. This is a fierce date. Yeah, it doesn't really work in the original, but you get the gist, I guess. Okay. Oh my god, she did not like that one bit. Lara, this is the point where you need to make an Irish exit. Probably not even pay the bills after the date, just disappear immediately. Okay, okay. You know what I'm talking about. And now, let's be very careful. I don't want to touch the final tile. I want to make a level and save here. So, with the lovely theme playing, guys, these were the burial chambers. We have found all 21 goodies, we have landed all 8 kills, although we left 7 angry ladies behind that we cannot kill at this point, but that's not going to be the case in New Game Plus. We have also found all 5 secrets, and we have broken all 4 breakable vessels and made progress on the Theomachist. So, this is all I can tell you about the burial chambers. The good thing is that I'm gonna show you a really cool FMV that I guess I could also make part of the beginning of the next level, but I think it's far more fitting to show you here in burial chambers. Please guys, watch this gorgeous FMV, they are phenomenal in Tomb Raider 4, and observe the sarcophagus especially.
I, Semaket, High Priest of Horus, forewarn that he who removes
the amulet shall have released Set. He who walked abroad with the jackals at the dawn of man shall once again violate the earth. Set, ruler of evil, will again be free at the turn of the distant millennia. At his heel, plagues and locusts.
Harvests fail under the broken skies. My trusty companion returns.
The amulet, woman!
Once called forth, shall the heavens split asunder, and the light of the sun, god Horus, banish the Lord of Darkness, set. I wouldn't advise it.
Now, before that scary sandstorm completely envelops us all, I would like to use this opportunity to thank my amazing patrons. Blangupel, Mick, Severin Drax, Enstickle, Katie Danger, Pooh the 2, and Basic Brian E. Thank you guys so much for being my loyal Winstons, and also for treating us to a vial of Seth's delicious blood today. Next, I would like to say big thanks to my caretaker Winstons, Michael McConkey, Karavetu, Renegade Durney, Blanket Fox, Jonathan Jones, and Dig DB. Thank you guys so much for your support of the channel, and also for giving all the mummified priestesses today a much overdue facelift. Look how beautiful they are. I would also like to give special thanks to my brave veteran Winstons, Andrea Paviglianiti, Alexander, and Richard Dearman. Thank you guys so much for your valiant support of the channel, and also for today using your swastika destroying skills from World War II and teaching Lara how to overcome the most vicious and terrifying of all traps of Tomb Raider 4. And finally, I would like to give one very special thanks to my one and only fine vintage Winston, Akira Foxmind. Thank you so much for your generous and your long support of the channel. And also, what most people don't realize is that the final sandpit mechanism today was completely jammed. It was you, armed with a pile of beach buckets, filling the whole place with sand, bucket after bucket. Now, in reality, I sped the whole thing up in the video, but it did take 6 hours of circling around in awkward silence, but you helped Lara escape the most embarrassing of all dates, and that's what matters. And on a final note, I'd like to say thanks to my free Patreon members, as well as to every single one of you for watching and making it to the end of the video. You are the reason why I'm doing these, and for those of you who are also supporting me financially, thanks to all of you, I am able to keep all these videos completely demonetized and ad-free, which granted is not the best thing for the algorithm, but I honestly care more about putting videos out there that are gonna be a bit timeless and are always gonna be useful, no matter who and how far in the future will pick them up when tackling their own Tomb Raider journey. That's the priority for me, and I do hope that comes across in here. Also, what I do hope did come across is just my absolute love for the combination of Tomb of Seth and Burial Chambers. I adore these levels so much. Unfortunately, this is peak Tomb Raider 4 for me. That means it's all gonna go downhill for me personally. Nevertheless, I absolutely adore the next two following levels. That is, unfortunately, the remaster has really messed these up. But I'm not gonna talk about it here. No, I'm gonna talk about that aplenty when I actually tackle the Valley of Kings and KV5. Until then, guys, I hope you enjoyed these two gorgeous Tomb Raider 4 levels, and I'm gonna see you next time in the Valley of Kings. Until then, I wish you all happy raiding.